Well, that's a little tricky. I mean, obviously, God created Adam, and Adam and Chava were commanded by God to obey the commandment of not eating from the fruit, and that they violated, but then they were given the other commandments that later became known as the Noahide laws. But in terms of the religion of Judaism, if we define Judaism as the 613 mitzvot of the Torah, then in a sense, there was not a full Jewish religion until Mount Sinai, which is after Moshe took us out of Mitzrayim. So we often say, it's often said by everybody, that Abraham is the first Jew. Now, that's a bit of an ambiguous term. What does it mean to be the first Jew? I mean, after all, Adam was commanded by God, and Noah was commanded by God. But presumably what I think it means is that Avraham was the first person with whom Hashem made an individualized covenant with his seed. The covenants that God made with Noah were for all of humanity, because Noah is the progenitor of all of humanity. The first time that God told an individual, I am making a unique covenantal relationship with you and your descendants, which will not necessarily include all of the rest of humanity, is Avram. So in that sense, it may be correct to call Avram the first member or the founder of the Jewish nation, because Hashem made a miyuchad, a unique bris, with Avram, but of course that raises some problems because Avram had both a Yishmael and a Yitzchak, and Yitzchak took over the covenant of Avram, and Yitzchak had a Yaakov and an Esav, and Yaakov took over that covenant of Avraham and Yitzchak. There was a certain selection process, and then of course all of Yaakov's children are part of the 12 tribes of Israel. They are all part of Am Yisrael. So in the sense of a covenant with God, we would call Avraham the first Jew. In the sense, however, of formal mitzvot given to the Jewish people, that did not really occur until Yetziat Mitzrayim, because then God gave us commandments about bringing the Pesach sacrifice, wearing tefillin, various other commandments. And then, of course, many, many more commandments were given at Sinai. So there are different ways of describing the beginning of the Jewish people. You could start with Avraham, or you could talk about Yetziat Mitzrayim, which made us God's nation, or you could talk about Matan Torah. Those would be the three pivotal events that I would choose. Nevertheless, obviously, God had a covenantal relationship with Adam and with Noah, but we don't consider that Jewish per se, because those were covenantal relationships with humanity as opposed to a given segment. The way the commentaries explain it was that God created human beings to have the mission of bringing God into the world, but what happened was that eventually most of humanity seemed to be unworthy or unwilling or unable to fulfill that mission. So as a result, the mission that was originally supposed to be universal then became selective. That is the meaning of a statement that's very controversial and is often misunderstood. We have a statement in Maseches Yevamos from the great Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who says about the Jewish people, Atem Kuruyim Adam, you are called man, you are called Adam, and Ovdei Kochavim, the non-Jewish pagan, is not called Adam. Now, this is often interpreted in a very, very pejorative way, and it's used by anti-Semites to say that Jews are accused. Oh, you believe only Jews are human, and you treat Ovdei Kochavim as animals. That is not what the statement is saying, really. We believe all human beings are made in the image of God, and all human beings are worthy of respect and dignity. It's very important to underscore that. I, as a religious Jew, believe that every single human being is made in the image of God. But his statement that the Jews are called Adam means that the mission that was given to Adam to bring God into the world was in effect taken over by the Jewish people selectively. It simply means we are the successors of a spiritual destiny that at one point in history could have been universal, but eventually it had to become selective. So it's not putting anyone down, it's simply recognizing that the Jewish people do have a unique mission, which was the original mission of Adam Harishon.
The Rohr Jewish Learning Institute has the largest collection of Jewish media online. Hit subscribe for more.